calling me. I intend to vote on this ordinance this morning. As I understand it, it's an appropriation of $3.7 million for the purposes of furthering architectural renderings and studies and engineering studies for a new parking garage at Hobby Airport. I'll be voting for it for the purposes of moving that process along. You'll recall that when we voted on the idea of extending extra benefits for Hobby Airport earlier in the year, I voted for that with some reservations and some concerns. And part of the reservations and concerns is I wasn't sure that we, as a matter of public policy and public discussion, had talked about enough where the costs for some of the added costs there at the airport would be coming from. And one of the issues that I raised was who would pay for the parking garage. And I believe that the popular understanding of what we've done at Hobby Airport is that Southwest Airlines will be paying for virtually all of the expansions. And I think it would be appropriate at some point in time, if not today, to begin the discussion of how Southwest would be able to pay for these expansions on this airport parking garage. It seems to me that in large part Southwest is the single largest user of the airport, largest percentage gate user. The traffic that will be going there will be for the benefit in large part to Southwest. So I just ask that we begin the public discussion before we go into any final contracts about Southwest's percentage role in the total costs of this parking garage if in fact we need it. So that's, I'll be voting yes, but I would like to raise that public discussion, and I hope we can entertain that discussion before we get to final contracts and final discussions with Southwest Airlines. Thank you.
Noted, Councilmember, although I will point out that this is, the construction of the new parking garage has been predated any discussion with Southwest Airlines about new terminals, and if you've had to park at Hobby recently, you'll understand the need for new construction. But as we allocate the full cost of any expansion, we can certainly discuss the parking garage, but I know that it's imperative that we do construct that new garage as expeditiously as possible.
I appreciate that, Mayor, and I understand there are private sector parking garages around the area that will be impacted one way or the other, and I don't have a doubt that if in fact the traffic at Southwest and at Hobby increases, they will need additional parking. I'm remembering that the city paid significant amounts of money to extend the parking garage within the last 10 or 15 years at the facility anyway. So I think we just need to entertain that discussion about what percentage of costs Southwest will be willing to bring to the table. Thank you.
Councilmember Green.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I have looked into this particular item and very supportive, and one of the reasons I'm supportive of this particular item is that we're using a lot of Houston-based local firms, and I understand that this project was conceived prior to the Southwest negotiations. I would just hope that we keep in mind with regard to moving forward with the construction dealing with Southwest, that our local firms be taken into consideration and used. What I've been hearing is that we're going to be having a lot of Dallas firms leading projects, leading the expansion of Hobby. And I know when we sat down and spoke with them, the thought was that Houston firms would also have that consideration as well. I understand this is a privately financed construction project. However, the city of Houston is partners on this, and using our local-based firms as we move forward, I think is very important, not only to our economy, but was part of the promise that was made. So I'm not saying that anything has been finalized, but I would just hope that we would make sure we keep our eye on making sure that our local businesses have that opportunity to participate. Thank you.
Noted, Councilmember, and I believe we distributed to council a reminder and an update within the last couple of weeks about progress out there. While Southwest is responsible for the add-on terminal, they have agreed to our MWBE provisions and to the Higher Houston First provision as well. And I think we circulated that. If not, I'll be glad to resend it. Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to reiterate what you mentioned. It was my understanding as well that the parking garage at Hobby Airport had been in the works for some time, and as you stated, anyone that uses it frequently can see, I mean, it's always full, and there definitely is a need for additional capacity, even if Hobby was never expanded even further. This will be for the benefit of those travelers that use the airport. And in addition, I know that the Houston airport system depends heavily on the revenue that they generate from parking. And so this allows them additional control over these additional parking spaces, more revenue for our Houston airport system. And so I think that's a positive thing. So thank you.
Councilmember Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, Council. I understand that Dallas firms, while moving to Houston, have done work in the past for Southwest, setting up shop in order to get some of this work which we have coming up for Southwest. I understand that to be a fact. I hope not, but if it is, I think we need to be cognizant of the fact that we have Houston First, and that's not Houston coming to town. Another thing too is, what is the location of the parking garage? Is it going to be near the area of the new Southwest terminal where it's supposed to be? Is it proximity? Do we know?
Well, that's a fairly tight site, but it's in proximity, of course.
We built this garage, and we need it, for sure. But now, would Southwest be willing to give us the money back that we spent on building this garage, since they said they were paid 100%?
Well, Councilmember, since the garage was already in the works prior to any negotiations with Southwest, it might be an uphill climb.
It wouldn't be a bad question to ask.
Councilmember Laster just asked that question.
All right. Well, I'm with him on that. Thank you, Mayor.
But to the answer, if firms relocate to Houston in order to compete for business, that makes them fully compliant with Higher Houston. I mean, the goal is that we want the decision makers on the ground here, and we want companies to relocate.
I did read the memo from you all concerning the Southwest progress. I'm a little concerned because they went silent on us, whereas we don't know anything.
Councilmember, I distributed a memo to update council 2 weeks ago, and I will redistribute it.
No, I read it.
So they have not gone silent, but we are in negotiations, and I would expect Southwest not to be communicating with council members if we are in contract negotiations.
Well, I just like to stay in the loop on this one. Just keep me in the loop.
As I will, all council members as it is in front of you, sir.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Mayor, to kind of dumb this down to high level, if we build it, we keep the money, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Southwest builds terminal, they operate the terminal, and that's theirs. We build the parking garage, we keep the revenues. Said it the other day, parking garages that we operate at the airport are profit centers, they generate very positive cash flow, and we need them. So if Southwest has any input to the parking garage, it would be the airport system, and we would consider it. But other than that, it's our baby to operate and keep the money from.
Yes, sir.
To my
That
level.
is pretty clear. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And council members, if you can picture where the current parking garage is, there are surface lots to the west, and so it would be they would be side by side. I don't know, I would say it's in closer proximity to the new terminal or not, but it's adjacent to the current parking garage. Councilmember Brett.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I want to go back to the Houston First concept, and that is generic to the item in chief. And your comment concerning if they relocate an office or a team here that would comply with the Houston First component, I thought there was a proviso in Houston First that you would have to be an established company or firm here in the Houston area. I don't want us to think, based on the comment you just made, that some company could in fact compete. And I'm making no comment about Southwest, let me say that for the record, as it relates to this issue. I want to clean up this Houston First issue, that it's certainly not permitted that a company compete and then just move a front office here to say I'm there, get the job, and then shut the front office down and go back to wherever they came from. So would you clarify, speak for the record as to the Houston First component, please, or Mr. Feldman?
The city attorney's about to say that we are off subject and not, that it was clearly posted, but I'm gonna ask him to reply. And you are correct, they can't just open a front office, it has to do with the percentage of the firm that is located here. So,
But let me weigh in if I may, Mayor, because Houston First is a proponent item listed in item chief here.
I'm asking the attorney to respond.
Thank you.
There's specific definition in the ordinance with respect to what it means to be headquartered in Houston. And just having a front office, as you described it, would not be sufficient. They would have to have 20% of their employees here. So, for argument's sake, if you have a company up in Dallas that has 1,000 employees, they send create an outpost in Houston to 20 people, they obviously don't meet the mark. On the other hand, if they employ, say, 250 people or 300 people, that would be a different story. So 20% is the mark.
Very good. That's what I want to get into the record, that so Councilman Burke, if they are not meeting the prescribed guidelines for the Houston First component, they simply are not within guidelines. Thank you.
And council members, the item before us, Walker Parking Consultants, is a Houston-based company. Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. I know the Southwest discussion came in relation to, they should have a part of this parking garage. I think we've discussed that. And, I think that the initial information with Southwest is that some of the preliminary work may have been conducted by outside firms, but the intent as they move forward is to definitely look, if you're looking at construction and other related items, to definitely look at a local piece here. So just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Further discussion on this item? Moving to a vote, favoring, opposed, item carries. There were several items. Councilman Free.